COVID-19 isn't a singular event. Smart companies learn fast, so cash in of whatever surprises come next. Navigating the business challenges of Corona chaos. Few firms were well prepared for the swan named COVID-19. The ferocity of the attack of this virus surprised even the foremost vigilant of organizations. But some firms will emerge stronger because the shock waves ebb and therefore the extreme uncertainty from lockdowns, economic slumps and frozen markets abate. Successful firms avoid the pitfalls of fantasy, willful blindness, paralysis, or myopia when catastrophe surrounds them. Vigilant leaders can manage this corona chaos by following 3 navigation principles drawn from best practice. Principle number 1, fight this fire and search for the following one. Strategic leaders listen to multiple unfolding horizons of turbulence. While they're firefighting within the present by taking care of their people, suppliers, customers, and cash, they're also looking ahead. This demands an organizational culture that's agile and curious. The digital transformation of industries will continue to accelerate during the crisis. The pandemic has already given an enormous boost to digital mitigation in healthcare, while nearly all organizations try and operate virtually the maximum amount as possible. Here are some general questions that vigilant leaders should ask to urge beyond the immediate crisis. What are the largest uncertainties across the horizon? What scenarios should management develop to capture them in combination? What strategic moves can the firm make to emerge as an industry leader? How robust are these moves across the possible scenarios? Are there opportunistic moves we will make now, takeovers, market entries or exits? And which of them should we approach flexibly, as options? Should we shift the allocation of our innovation resources? Where should we scan for emerging opportunities, and the way can we seize the most effective ones sooner than rivals? What new leadership talent and organizational capabilities are going to be needed to organize the enterprise for the longer term? Principle number 2, turbulence equals opportunity. Vigilant organizations will systematically nurture dynamic capabilities that foster agility and preparedness. Familiar environments can usually be navigated with ordinary capabilities focused on the proficient execution of current processes, like supply chain management, routine transactions, and reliable performance. If you have got to navigate deep uncertainty, however, firms will need a far more vigilant toolkit customized around 3 dynamic capabilities. Sensing change sooner than rivals, seizing opportunities ahead of time, and transforming the organization to remain ahead. With the correct set of dynamic capabilities, a corporation can remain agile when turbulence is high. Agility means having the ability to maneuver quickly and shift resources to higher value activities earlier than rivals. For instance, intuit a little team, a Scrum, to explore why their new online payments system attracted unexpected customers. They quickly realized that workers within the gig economy, like Uber drivers, found their product convenient, and then they tailored a version specially for them. Scrums function as self-managing teams, follow a transparent process, use design thinking methods to check prototype solutions and learn quickly. These features are the antithesis of cumbersome, top-down processes with repetitive meetings, rigid command structures, and other impediments to action. Principle number 3, speed is crucial. Vigilant organizations develop a distinct perspective about speed than typical firms, to be being ready when the time is correct. Especially within the maelstrom of corona chaos, speed will remain an especially useful creed. Delays tend to narrow the range of strategic options available because some other person may get to them earlier. Seeing sooner also gives vigilant firms longer to form flexible options to be exercised later.
But because the clock of business is whirring faster does not imply that leaders must operate hastily. Acting faster than rivals is about being ready for action when needed, and this starts with early detection and learning through probing questions by the C-suite, followed up with exploratory market forays. The aim of superior foresight is to possess more degrees of freedom when quick or bold actions are necessitated, without being boxed in by rivals' moves. Prepare for the long game. Vigilant organizations employ many eyes and ears to scan the full of the ecosystem, and are therefore better prepared to soak up mega shocks like corona chaos. Companies like Agilent, Intuit, Cisco and Amazon have cultivated the correct leadership orientation, economic resources, managerial talent and organizational capabilities to seize emerging opportunities previous their more vulnerable rivals. Organizational vigilance may be a collective capability characterized by curiosity, candor, and openness to diverse inputs. It's the antithesis of myopia, siloed thinking, and being held captive by outdated conventional wisdom. Our own research shows that the resilience of vigilant organizations in turbulent times derives from 4 strategic drivers. Leadership's commitment to vigilance is demonstrated by an openness to weak signals from diverse sources, encouraging everyone to explore issues outside their purview, thinking outside the box. The leadership team focuses on externally and nurtures curiosity throughout the whole organization, which allows the corporate to reconfigure its internal systems and external partnerships on short notice. Investments in foresight made systematically, often through centralized foresight units, that scan the periphery while also collecting internal signals. For example, the provision chain function would have dashboards that flash early warnings when external events threaten timely deliveries. Instead of waiting to work out how key uncertainties might resolve over time, a vigilant organization proactively develops a versatile portfolio of options so it can probe and act fast when needed. Strategy-making processes are flexible and adapted by adopting both an outside-in and a future-back approach. Outside-in thinking allows leaders to achieve deeper insights into the changing circumstances of their strategic partners. By feeling their pain, they will make wiser choices for joint gain later. Future-back thinking is about envisioning what quiet organizational transformations are going to be needed once COVID-19 subsides. Leaders can use future scenarios to determine what plan to seed already now, while also relieving a number of the near-term pain of their people, customers, and suppliers. Coordination and accountability mechanisms in well-run enterprises are properly moored in situ. Such information is shared readily with those that need it. By flagging and redressing uncoordinated activities and haphazard initiatives, The leadership team reduces decision-making ambiguity and creates the proper conditions for continued vigilance. As soon as early warning signals about the pandemic were detected, for instance, truly vigilant firms created plan-ahead teams to consider the long run and evaluate promising initiatives from across the firm. In the extraordinary times of COVID-19, when a tiny low vicious virus pulls everyone down, vigilance is additionally greatly about reinvention and orchestrating greater resilience for the subsequent time around. This can be not resilience within the usual sense of simply bouncing back and returning to normal. Instead, vigilant organizations ask, what should we be able to do once we return to a brand new abnormal, since the planet post-COVID-19 are different in some ways? Individual leaders and therefore the C-suite in unison can stimulate this type of thinking by asking such questions as, what can we learn from the continued tumult and chaos? What must we do now to realize a competitive draw near the future?
What are the organizational impediments to upgrading our vigilance capabilities? What strategic actions and alter initiatives should we launch to place us in an exceedingly stronger position for the future? Vigilant leaders will create sufficient mental space to urge everyone prepared for the subsequent shock. And there'll be one.